This episode of Nuff Said is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
On that note, and there's the music. Hello and welcome, dear friends, to another episode of Superconnectivity. I'm your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser, and with me, as always, is the man who makes it all possible, the hero of the ages.
Fill me and Perich.
That's the man. So, Philip, welcome once again to Superconnectivity. A couple of things I really want to talk about. Man, there's so many things. We got comics to get to, and I do want to get to our comics, but I do want to do some fan theory first here.
Okay.
First one I really want to talk about. So, recently, people had asked the actress who played Valkyrie if Valkyrie could take Killmonger, and of course she very quickly said yes, which I think most people agreed with, myself included. Valkyrie is an ancient warrior of a race of warriors who has had thousands of years of experience fighting. She has increased speed, strength, stamina, etc. I think she could take Killmonger. Now, in my argument for this, I made the point that Loki, saying Killmonger could beat Valkyrie is like saying that Captain America could beat Loki. And the answer is yes. Captain America can beat Loki, but only when Loki wants him to. Now, this got into a whole other debate about how Loki isn't an Asgardian, and which got to the think yes, it's comparable. You know, Captain America doesn't actually have the heart-shaped root, but he does have the Super Soldier Serum, which got me thinking. Someone needs to do a story about a expat Wakandan scientist, sort of a Hidden Figures concept. This is my pitch. Do like Hidden Figures, that there was this Wakandan exile, possibly a princess of Wakanda, who was forced to leave, but she gets into the Operation Rebirth and starts sort of dropping hints to Erskine about the heart-shaped herb and what its chemical structure might be, and trying to find this way to make the heart-shaped herb something that isn't just for the royal family, but that we could say that could heal all people. Because let's not forget, somehow they got their hands on Vibranium. Now, I will say that not all Vibranium is in Wakanda or Antarctica if you go to Antarctican Vibranium. But because when a meteor hits, it's going to disperse. There's going to be Vibranium around the world, just not in large quantities. That's why he says there's as much as there is on the planet Earth in the shield.
And I mean, with the Fox acquisition now, it's going to be, Weapon X is going looking for stuff, and I mean, not everything's has to be Vibranium now. We're going to probably be introducing Adamantium and stuff too, and
who knows? Maybe Cap's next shield will be Adamantium.
It'll be a mix. Remember back in the day in the comics, it was a mix of that Adamantium and Vibranium.
And of course, the joke of that is that actually the whole thing about Vibranium is that when Vibranium comes in contact with other metals, originally it made other metals melt.
Yeah.
Because it was Vibranium, because it was a metal that vibrated in this way that would make other metals melt. So
that's what it did. It melted the Adamantium, and then it kind of intermingled and cooled. And
yeah. Of course, what's weird is that when you actually get to the X-Men franchise, they kind of made Adamantium almost like a plastic. It was weird. Anyway, because it's like, it's when it becomes hard, when it's in its liquid form, it's like, but they don't say molten, they say liquid. Which is like, well, that's a very big difference between molten and liquid,
Yeah.
Anyway, but my actual point was, so that was a whole other thing about this Hidden Figures. Was there a Wakandan scientist on Operation Rebirth? Since they do cross over a lot, I think that I think that Erskine was there, but then maybe this Wakandan scientist in the background maybe help them push over the line, that kind of thing. That kind of story that the kids love nowadays. Because like I said, somehow they got the Vibranium. So obviously someone knew what Vibranium was, knew how to get it into the hands of people associated with Operation Rebirth. So obviously there was some efforts. There were some efforts going on here. But here's my point. Because this brought up this whole question of, could a super soldier kill a Asgardian. And I was thinking about, because here's the thing, going back to Batman v Superman, you know, and more importantly, going back to the original Predator. If it bleeds, we can kill it. Because that whole thing about, do you bleed? That was just him, you know, aping, I want to say Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it might have been Jesse the Body, where, you know, or Carl Weathers, where they say, you know, if it bleeds, we can. I can't remember which of the three large muscular men, because all large muscular men look alike. I'm sorry. I'll say it. To get too many muscles, it all blends. It's like pit bulls. They don't have the facial expressions. Except for Lou Ferrigno, Batman.
At Charlie Esser. At Charlie Esser on Twitter.
Anyway, but when they say in that basically when Batman's asking Superman if he bleeds, that's just a play on what we're going to say Carl Weathers, just to give him credit for it. Why not? Says in The Predator, if it bleeds, we can kill it. And the fact that his Guardians bleed, which raises this question: if Captain America has his shield, or Killmonger has the Vibranium weapon, which is something which theoretically could pierce an Asgardian skin, with the heightened speed and reflexes, would that super strength not be as much of an advantage? Now, I still say that Valkyrie's centuries of fighting skills and being a trained warrior gives her the advantage there.
Plus being from, like, an Asgardian, being, like, from, like, a higher realm can... Alright, let's say they can each do equal damage. Would Valkyrie have more endurance? Could she take more injury than Killmonger?
Well, she certainly can, yes.
So,
that's the thing. So, basically, what Killmonger would have to do is he'd have to be making a fight that is avoiding damage and getting critical blows with his weapon.
Almost like a boxer.
Almost like a boxer, yeah. Well, exactly like a boxer.
Like an Adonis Creed, yes.
Yes. You gotta hold back and then hit. You know, the rope-a-dope strategy always works. And so in that sense, Killmonger could theoretically rope-a-dope Valkyrie. But this brings us back to a more salient point to very, very nerdy old men like myself. In the 90s, back in the 90s, when BoJack Horseman was in a very famous TV show, there was a little comic book crossover called Marvel vs. DC.
Yes.
And all the Marvel heroes had to fight their DC counterparts, we'll say. And
if something
what makes you a counterpart?
I was gonna say, if something didn't have counterparts, they just seem like random, or like, hey, this guy's popular, this guy's popular.
Well, it's sort of like, okay, so Wonder Woman is Wonder Woman, and she's like associated with the gods. Storm used to be a god, and really, I think it was mostly based on comic book sales.
Storm was called like a goddess. Wonder Woman is a goddess.
Well, she wasn't a goddess at that point. You know, then she was just an Amazonian. I don't think she had the daughter of Zeus.
Yeah, true, yeah.
I think that's a more recent development. In fact, I know that's a recent development because I think they just did Daughter of Zeus storyline.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought she should have been the daughter of Ares. I think that makes a much better story, but, you know. Maybe they felt it was too Oedipal or Freudian or electrical. Anyway. But, getting back to the original story. In this great thing, Lobo, yeah, I know who's Lobo, but he was a character in DC at the time. Yeah. I guess he's having a bit of a resurgence in popularity. Good for Lobo. But Lobo was sent to fight Wolverine, apparently because both smoked cigars. And I think that was literally all they did. Now, I don't know how old Lobo's supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I know he's the last of the whatever's.
Khazarians or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know how old he's actually supposed to be. But here's my actual point. Wolverine has hundreds of years of fighting training, including ninja training. Lobo, as far as I know, rides a motorcycle. Now, maybe I'm wrong about Lobo. Maybe Lobo has had, like, thousands of years of ninja training, too. I'm going to guess maybe not as much. But, you know...
Okay, here's the thing. I mean, I get you're going to say this is ridiculous, right? Because, I mean, Lobo has fought Superman.
Yeah. Yes, but Wolverine has adamantium claws.
True, but I mean, I know Wolverine has a healing factor, but I mean, yeah.
And that's the thing. And this goes to the rope-a-dope. If all you need for a rope-a-dope is just to stay standing, that's what Wolverine does. And you can see Lobo take him behind the bar and basically smash the skin off his face, and then get close enough for Wolverine to go, oh, by the way, hope you didn't need those vital organs.
And I'm trying to remember, it wasn't even to the death, right? Because was it whoever got knocked out first?
No, it was actually supposed to be to the death.
Yeah, but a lot of those characters weren't killing at the time. Well,
I mean, it was until
it was the 90s. It was the 90s.
It was until the fight stopped, and that's why Captain America and Batman, they were too evenly matched. They got 50-50. I think they eventually said Batman won, like on a technicality or something, or their fight was interrupted. You know.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, Captain America has super soldier serum, but Batman has more training, I would say. Like more varied training. There's stories where Batman took like a decade and learned from like however many people he could in that decade. I mean, how much training did Steve Rogers have when he got that serum?
Well, he had at least 5 years, which is half a decade, plus all the decades since he got unfrozen.
Well, I was gonna say he spent decades on ice, too.
Yeah, and basically he's been fighting ninjas for a while, so they both have good ninja fighting skills.
Yeah,
and honestly, ninja fights are mostly about the ninja staying hidden and attacking. Whereas this is just we're actually both in the ring now, and so let's fight. And and let's not forget, Steve Rogers was a scrapper even as a little weak kid. So, although Steve Rogers' fighting skills have been increased over the years. When he first fights the Hulk, he mentions that it's just a simple judo move that any first year cadet could, or anyone out of basic training could do. He throws the Hulk, which made the Hulk so mad. Hulk does not like people who know judo.
Hulk hate martial arts.
Hulk hate martial arts because Hulk don't know martial arts. That's the thing. It's like Hulk, he relies on his strength. He's not a savvy fighter. That would have been a great thing, is actually to have the leader actually like learn martial arts because he's super intelligent and just like, oh no, I'm just going to beat you up physically because you have a lot of strength, but you really have no knowledge of how to fight, Hulk. But anyway.
That would be interesting if the leader could just like, Matrix style, like download skills into his brain and all of a sudden I know Kung Fu.
Yeah, now I know Kung Fu. Yeah, well, if Whitman can do it, I'm sure the leader could figure it out. Because not for nothing, clearly Whitman downloads stuff into people's brains, like all of his clones. They're operational.
Well, yeah, he downloads his whole brain, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, here you go. You're going to tell me Whitman couldn't figure out what are the parts that know karate? Okay, let's put those in.
True.
And not for nothing. Obviously, he can build a rudimentary intelligence. He could fill it as he needs. So, because clearly Bentley 23, doesn't seem to have all of Whitman's knowledge, but maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't have all of his memories, though. I don't know. We're not quite sure exactly what Whitman 23 knows, or Bentley 23 knows. But we do know that he.
Yeah, it might not be a full memories. Might just be a Whitman sampler.
Yeah. There we go. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Yes. But he clearly has a great deal of scientific knowledge. So, Anyway, but getting back to my original point, I could see Wolverine rope-a-doping Lobo, because Lobo doesn't know what power set Wolverine has.
Mm-hmm.
And, and just sort of get close enough in his fighting with Wolverine, and not realizing that he's not going to break Wolverine's skull, not going to damage his brain, and get close enough to Wolverine that he can gut the poor guy. And I think that's why Wolverine won. Now, they did a little thing, I guess, where it's implied that Professor Xavier bribed Lobo to throw the fight, which makes literally no sense. Because if the universe is going to get destroyed if you lose this fight, why would you take a bribe? Unless they're just saying Lobo is just that dumb. Lobo is a really, really dumb guy. I mean, he's super strong, but he's super dumb.
Or was the bribe, hey, if you throw the fight, you can come live in our universe? Okay.
That's actually not a bad one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Honestly, why didn't more people offer that? Well, why don't we just figure it out? Of course, that's what got us to the Amalgam universe in the first place.
Mm.
But my point is I think Wolverine could take Lobo. It's a controversial subject because everyone says, no, Lobo fought Superman. It's like Wolverine fought the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget this. It's like Wolverine fought the freaking Hulk. And who did the Hulk fight in that? In Marvel vs. DC?
Superman.
Yeah, good guess, because obviously that's exactly where it goes. So the Hulk...
No, it took me a second to remember. It's been how many years, Charlie?
It's been 142 years, but I remember it like it was yesterday.
It's been at least 20 years.
It's been like they're so important in our lives.
It's been over like 20 years.
That they are imprinted on our hearts. It was very painful to get that heart tattoo. They say it's the foot, but really getting a heart tattoo is the most painful. Because you got to go in.
Yeah, mullet Superman versus Professor Hulk.
Yeah. Basically the worst versions of both.
Well, they had to go with whoever they had at the time because so was it Spider-Man versus Superboy, but it was Ben Reilly at the time, so it was Ben Reilly versus Superboy.
Yeah. I don't know necessarily why Superboy is like on par with Spider-Man. It's like, I'm not really a teenager anymore. I'm actually in my,
That's what I'm saying. Some of them, I don't think they had doubles for, so they were just like, okay, who's popular? Who do we need to fight for? Okay, let's just... Yeah, but with Superboy, we definitely need Spider-Man in here. He's not going against Superman. He's going to...
Yeah, but basically, I think that was like Spider-Man's bye week. It's like... It's like, we all know Spider-Man's going to win whoever we put him in. Have him fight Superboy.
I think if they could have come up with a legitimate way to do it, they wanted Superman versus Spider-Man, probably.
Yes. Well, they've done that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's the other thing. They've done it before. And people would say, oh, Superman has super speed. Spider-Man couldn't possibly beat that. Yada, 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 yada. Because Spider-Sense doesn't do you much good against super speed.
Well, didn't they kind of have like a Superman-Spider-Man fight in that? Because wasn't like... Well, Ben Reilly was like again going by the name Peter Parker, but he was like wasn't he like flirting with Lois almost?
I mean, it's entirely possible. Yeah, I mean, these Amalgam stories, they certainly. I mean, but why wouldn't he? He was single and unattached, and as last I checked, I don't think Lois had a ring on her finger at that point.
I think were they engaged?
I don't think they did.
They were engaged, but they did, like, she kind of called it off for a while. I know it was it was like at least a year or two before the marriage, so.
Yeah, and not for nothing. If Spider-Man flirts with Lois, it's up to Lois if that actually goes anywhere. So.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Lois had said, hey, Pete, yeah, handsome young side of beef, so,
If Jonathan Kent starts shooting webs, we'll know something's up.
Well, he's a villain now, so.
Fantastic.
And honestly, we don't know that Jonathan Kent's a villain. It may just be the art in the teaser. The art in the teaser makes it seem like, oh, he's got glowing red eyes. Which every time we want to say, hey, remember Superman has laser eyes, and that's scary. Which ironically, yes.
No, I was gonna say, have you been reading Adventures of the Super Sons, which takes place before all the Bendis stuff? Oh no, they're like crashed on this alien planet, and like I'm waiting for the next issue because at the end of the last issue they come. This was a theme on Capes and Lunatics. They come across what seems to be older versions of themselves. So like older versions, like Gray Temples. So basically Old Man Superboy and Old Man Robin.
Please just promise me that Old Man Robin isn't still wearing a Robin suit.
I'm pretty sure he was. Like it might have been a different version, but it was still a Robin costume. Yeah, I know. Damien of all people wouldn't be wearing a Robin costume at that age.
Yes. Yeah, no. And he wouldn't be still Superboy because he's...
Well, he didn't call himself... Well, I'm just saying that's who... It was supposed to be John Kent, but I don't know if he even called... So he was calling himself Superman at that point. Yeah.
So maybe he put a D and he's... I'm Damien. I'm Damien,
yeah.
Doing that Hollywood voice. Yeah, but, no, I haven't been reading Adventures of the Super Sons. And, yes. But no, I'm just saying, I think it's entirely possible that Logan could be Lobo. I don't think, maybe that's why, because they both had 4-letter names. No, Logan has 5 letters. But they both start with an L-O. So, they both start with L-O. They both smoke cigars. It's like they're twinsy. Yeah. Like I said, Wolverine has fought the Hulk. Wolverine has fought out of his weight class all the time because he can rope-a-dope. He's got that physical ability to withstand injury.
Mm-hmm.
Which means he can get a more powerful villain who thinks all he needs is his strength to bring it back to Captain America and the Hulk, doing a quick judo throw and saying, "You don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to fight." And that's what he does. He tosses him, and I think that's how Logan wins. And so for me, the headcanon is Logan wins.
Logan wins. Logan wins.
Okay. Speaking of headcanon, can we just talk about the prelude to Infinity War?
Okay.
A comic that just came out.
Okay, I didn't read it, so tell me.
Well, it's not out yet. So
okay.
Just the preview. And the preview is basically the first 4 scenes of Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
And we see very clearly Thanos clicking his glove, his Power Stone glowing, and him beating the tar out of the Hulk.
All right, so can I summarize for the people listening? All right, everyone. Charlie Esser was right.
And that's our drop. Yeah. So we need that a lot because it happens a lot. You wait till turns out those were all just AIs that came to life and started killing people. Good thing the only one that actually died was Speedy, who we all thought was dead anyway after the whole heroin storyline. Sorry, Roy. But, the fact of the matter is that there were people fighting me on the internet saying, no, he didn't use the stone didn't glow, da-da-da-da, he just beat him because Thanos is just that powerful. Yeah, fight me, nerds. Well, they did fight me, and now the nerds have lost. They did fight me, and now the nerds have lost. So, there you go. That's the thing. It's like, clearly, that was what was implied by it, that he has the Power Stone. That's how he's able to defeat the Hulk. It's clear that that's why he has the Power Stone first. It's all established in the story that he has the gauntlet. He has the Power Stone. He can use the stones individually, which originally you weren't supposed to be able to do. But he does, because, the stones said, why am I fighting?
All right, radical idea. We changed the name of the podcast from Superconnectivity to Charlie Was Right.
Well, I'm not always right. I'm often right. And
Charlie is mostly right. There, that's a cool name. Charlie was mostly
they weren't the Kree. They weren't the Atlanteans. I will own that for the rest of my life, I will say, I thought the Kree was too easy. I thought the Kree were too easy. And, I wasn't sure if that was where they wanted to go with it. And I thought Atlanteans would be a more interesting take because it is something within the Earth. I didn't think they were going to go cosmic that soon. They went cosmic right away.
All right. Well, since we're on this kind of the subject of Avengers 4, where's that trailer already?
2 days before the movie dropped. Here's the thing about Avengers 4.
Well, I know. That's what everyone's saying. It's like they really don't need the hype because it's like, who saw that movie and it's like, I don't need to see the rest of it.
Yeah. You know what? Here's what I'll tell you.
It broke records. Everyone who saw it, no one's going to be like, I don't need to see the second half.
Here's what the issue is. I think, call me crazy, they're not going to release it until
Super Bowl?
Until just before, well, maybe Super Bowl, which isn't too far before, until Captain Marvel comes out. Because I think part of the trailer...
Yeah, but...
You'll get a teaser, not the full trailer.
I was going to say, I think Captain Marvel's after Super Bowl.
Yeah. So maybe you'll get a teaser, but you won't get the full trailer.
Maybe.
But the teaser and the trailer may have the same thing, which is that, which is you're going to open up with the scene we saw, and then you're going to just see Phil Coulson walk in and say, what's the situation? Well, maybe that's the end of it. Or that's the end of the teaser, and then that's where we start off with it. It's going to be a continuation.
Or, the big theory is like, they don't need to hype it. It's so big, everyone's going to go see it anyway. But is it possible that, they're carefully planning because maybe, I don't want to say this, 95% of the footage is so spoilerific, they have to carefully pick and choose what they show?
Well, I think what it really is they don't want to step on Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel's a prequel. And you want people to know they have to see Captain Marvel before they see Infinity War.
Well, but can't. I'm not saying come right out and say it, but can't they play it even as like, who is this mysterious figure who's coming to help the Avengers? Well, go to the movies in March and find out.
Maybe the teaser for Infinity War is going to be actually a Captain Marvel trailer.
Would they hold off on showing the complete trailer? Like they would, the first place, maybe the only place you could see it is on the Captain Marvel movie.
Entirely possible, yeah.
I mean,
I could see that, not for nothing. And like I said, their biggest fear right now is not to step on Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel has to do well and preferably beat Wonder Woman. Here's what I'll say: if Captain Marvel does poorly, it's not the end of the world. But they don't want people saying that they gave Captain Marvel short shrift.
True. But I mean, one, I think the hype's pretty good on Captain Marvel, and two, some of them perform lower than others, but would you call any of the MCU movies like a complete failure?
No, well, exactly. That's the thing. It's like, I don't even think Ang Lee's Hulk was a failure.
Mm-hmm.
I think it actually made its money back, which isn't what you want. You want to make more money.
But the full Disney, MCU stuff.
I don't think, none of them lost money, but still, you still want, here's the thing. Captain Marvel, for good or ill, is going to get compared to Wonder Woman. And they don't want to do something that might make people say, well, I guess they don't need to see Captain. Not for nothing. They have to worry about these fanboys like, oh, women superheroes? I don't know.
I think everybody kind of knows. One, it's Captain Marvel's origin, and she's also playing a big part in Avengers 4. Plus, you're getting young Sam Jackson and Phil Coulson.
Phil Coulson, yeah. So, again, like I said, I think that part of it is a marketing ploy where they don't want to step on Captain Marvel.
Maybe.
But I think also it's just, they don't need to do a lot. They want to, I think the mystery is more hype than the film. Although they got to be careful, they don't want to Bendis it up,
Yeah, but I think
they don't want to call this Tony Stark's father.
Yeah, but I think if you do like a decent like teaser trailer, it would help Captain Marvel. Like if you show a lot of Captain Marvel footage.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's the thing. Although then Captain Marvel mixed it with Captain Marvel, which I guess obviously you should know. Captain Marvel survives Captain Marvel.
It's a prequel. And you saw him calling her at the end of Infinity War, so you kind of assume she makes it out of it. Yeah.
So what we can assume... So here's what I'll tell you. Probably on the Super Bowl, you're going to get the teaser, which is going to be... It's going to be... here's what it is. So it's after the events of Infinity War. And it's going to open up with that... Not the scene we saw in the Ant-Man, but the, public address warning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I forget if they did the old school beep or they went with beep, 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 because it's not beep anymore, it's beep, beep, beep.
Mm-hmm.
So those of us who are old enough to remember when it used to be a single tone, now it's like a repeated tone. But it's going to be opening with that playing, and you're going to be seeing, and what you're going to be seeing is you're going to be seeing a guy going through stuff and trying to find something, and then it's going to be revealed it's Phil Coulson. Then all of a sudden you see the knock on the door, and it's Captain Marvel, and she's going to say, what the heck happened? And that's going to be your teaser. That's going to be in the Super Bowl. So it works as both a Infinity War teaser and a Captain Marvel teaser, and establishes that both Phil and Captain Marvel will be in this thing without actually having to reveal anything. That's my prediction. Mark my words. Watch the Super Bowl for that, or just go to YouTube afterwards. You don't have to watch all the football to get the commercials that we're actually watching this dang show for. Isn't it weird that football has become the commercials in between the show of the commercials in the Super Bowl? Who watches football?
So I wonder. Like I said, the Super Bowl comes before Captain Marvel. Do we get a Captain Marvel and Avengers 4 commercial?
Well, you'll get the full trailer, because we've only... was that a full trailer or was that a teaser?
I'm trying to remember. Did we get a teaser before the Super Bowl and then the trailer, or was it a teaser?
I don't know. But you might get a new Captain Marvel trailer, but you'll get that teaser. And then maybe after the Super Bowl, just before Captain Marvel comes out, you'll start getting the Infinity War trailers.
I'm pretty sure it's the first week of February, but let me look up the exact date of the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl is like in January.
No, February 3rd.
February 3rd? Shows what I know. No, I'm thinking of maybe the Rose Bowl?
Maybe one of them, yeah, probably, yeah. Or the Pro Bowl or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, some kind of bowl. I think it's the college football things.
I think they used to do it sometime, or sometimes it might fall like the last week of January. It's usually like a Super Bowl's usually, I think it's like last week of January, first week. It seems like the last couple of years it's been like first week of February.
I just know it's always a Sunday.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. So yeah, Sunday, February 3rd.
Yes. So that's that. So one other thing I wanted to talk about, as DC, because hey, this is the DC week. We got to talk about DC. As they have said that they are pulling it back from their other projects, Batman and Superman, they've also revealed that they're going to be moving forward with a Zatanna film.
Oh, yeah.
And that got me thinking about my favorite DC title right now, Justice League Dark. And it got me thinking, Justice League Dark could be the way to go forward with a DC extended universe that doesn't deal with the problems of the other films. Because you can focus on Wonder Woman, and you can bring in Bobo, Detective Chimp, and Man-Bat as an old Batman villain, which makes sense because Batman's old! So that one of his villains is like, no, I'm just a scientist now. Yeah, I used to fight Batman, but that was a while ago. I mean, he's old. He's 142 now, so,
Well, that is a good point. It's like, yeah, that's the way you can bring in Wonder Woman without having to worry about the Batman and Superman stuff. Plus, I mean, with the exception of, like, Doctor Strange, the MCU really doesn't do a lot of magic. They don't have, like, a magic team, so...
Yeah. So, I mean, I think what's great about Justice League Dark is that it gives you this separation from the Justice League we've already established, while also acknowledging flaws of it. Like I said, it lets you walk away from Batman as a franchise for a few minutes.
Yeah.
That Batman has this old villain who's now part of this team, makes sense because Batman's been around for 20 years now. Why did they think that making Batman old was a good idea for the start of a series?
I don't know if they were thinking about Dark Knight Returns, the big Batman-Superman fight. I know, that's what I was thinking the other day. I'm like, why make an older Batman? Because, they always want to milk the hell out of Batman. Yeah, why make an older Batman?
Well, obviously they wanted the Batman-Superman fight.
Well, they wanted the Batman-Superman fight. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And it's like, so you want an experienced Batman? You don't want like a 21-year-old Batman being able to be like, oh, I can take Superman.
Yeah, well, but, I guess more to the point, honestly, the whole thing doesn't make any sense. So I think we can establish
I don't think they wanted him old, but they wanted him to have all this experience, so I don't know.
Well, I think they wanted to do Dark Knight Returns.
They did. They kind of, yeah.
Yeah, they wanted to do Dark Knight Returns.
They wanted too many things. They wanted Dark Knight Returns, but they didn't want to do a future story. They wanted a present story so they could introduce the Justice League.
Yeah,
and they shoved Doomsday in there too. That was their problem. They did too much. They wanted too many things. They tried to rush it.
Don't rush. And again, with this 3 tiers, it's like, what are you trying to do? What are you doing, Warner Brothers?
Well, I don't know. Are they trying for a good business model? Or is it going to be like one tier's DC, one something else?
No, it's like one is like their TV, 2 is like their TV and movie, or maybe it's like 1 is their movies, 2 is their TV. I don't know.
Comics in the other one. Well, maybe.
You know what? Here's what I'll tell you. It's too much thinking. I don't want to think. I don't want to.
Yeah, but if you're only interested in like the TV shows and you're not interested in like the movies or vice versa, or is that them saying, okay, well, we're not going to force you to buy everything. If you just want, a certain segment, then you can pay a lesser price.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. So Netflix right now, which is the most expensive, is like $12 a month. Okay, and you're going to tell me that Warner just can't make it work on $12 a month? Or $13 a month, or $14 a month. And here's what I'll tell you. Disney can charge me $15 a month. I'm probably going to take it to have the full content.
movies,
because
TV,
sometimes
comics.
because I want the full. Because what I want is I want to. The whole point of this whole internet thing is that I don't have to wait, and I can. It is not an inconvenience. If I have to go, here's the thing: if I have to do something else, I might as well just go to a movie theater. I might as well just go to Blockbuster, for goodness sakes. You know,
that last one.
Yeah, I might as well just go out of my house and do something if I'm going to make me do something right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you want me to have like 3 different tiers for content that you all own.
Yeah.
And you're going to put this like wall between the content that is related. It doesn't make sense. So I think what Disney's doing, as far as we know, is having, like Netflix, one locale. You know, Netflix and Hulu, it's like one locale. You go to that, you pull it up, and there's what we asked for. There's what we're looking for. And we can go to it, and it's enjoyable, and we watch it. And
well, does Warner's think they're more attractive because they're offering this option? Maybe
what they're trying to say is we're not going to make you pay for comic books movies if you don't want it.
So it's them not having faith in their product.
Yeah, basically, here's the thing: like the whole argument about like a la carte cable. Mm-hmm. Was always like people saying, I don't want news networks because you give me like 8 news networks and I don't want to watch any of them. I don't want any sports networks. You give me 8 sports networks. I don't want any of them. I want this channel, this channel, this channel. I want comedy, drama, and naked ladies.
Well, is that Warner's view? Is that like, well, that's why people are cutting the cord on cables because they don't want 50 million channels that they don't watch most of them?
They're not producing sports and news, and they're not producing like 3 different genres. They're producing one thing. They're producing scripted entertainment or maybe reality entertainment. They're producing entertainment. They're not producing, because that's the thing, is sports is a different genre than entertainment.
Warner's, come to us. We will fix your problem. You know the old, we have a Hulk. We have a little Hellfire. We can fix your problem.
Yes, we do have a little Hellfire. We can fix all the problems. You know, and here's what I'll tell you. You gotta, here's the real thing. You have a little Hellfire, but you also have a Phil and a Charlie and a Tyler. We can be moderating forces on each other. That's the thing. One person go nuts.
Yeah, different age segments, different world views. I mean, yeah.
Well, sort of different age segments, you know.
Well,
Lilith is our youngest member. Let's be honest here.
Lilith and Tyler in their 30s. We're in our 40s.
Yeah, exactly. So right in that meaty part of the demographic, no one.
Well, who do you think they're going after? Who has the money?
I assume millennials, or not millennials, but zillennials. I think my kids apparently have lots of money because they're telling me all sorts of things about what they want to buy. So
yeah, and then who are they coming to? Who are they coming to for, Charlie? Who are they coming to for the money, Esser?
Yes. Anyway, but I do think that. So here's the thing: Guardians of the Galaxy was a big hit for Marvel because it broke the mold. It was willing to take risks, and it said, "What if we did a film with a talking raccoon and a giant talking tree?" And a green wrestler with big red tattoos, and we'll put some schmuck at the lead, and it'll be good. And this is what I think when I look at Justice League. It's like, oh, they've got a kind of a wisecracking, cynical, furry person in Detective Chimp. Mm-hmm. You've got this big, kind of weird-looking person of few words in Man-Bat. Now, Man-Bat doesn't say, I am Man-Bat, but he actually speaks rather eloquently. We don't want to be too obvious. And I think that Detective Chimp and Man-Bat, and heck, if you have to, we can throw in Swamp Thing and Constantine in there for thing. But you have Zatanna and Wonder Woman, and Detective Chimp and Man-Bat. And honestly, the last episode with Man-Bat, the last issue where he's like, oh, I want to learn about this magic thing. He's so fun. He's so fun as Man. And I love when they keep him as like in the Man-Bat form, but in like the lab coat and like, it is such a good look. And DC has it. It's like, make that a movie, DC. Mm-hmm. And I hope they're going to do that. I hope that what it looks like they're doing is what they're going to do. Because I want Detective Chimp book bag for my kids. I think my kids would love Detective Chimp in a film. Same way that everyone loves Rocket.
It seems like they're making a Detective Chimp push, because like I said a few weeks ago in Batman Secret Files, there was a Batman Detective Chimp story. He's been in Justice League Dark. I thought he was somewhere else recently. But yeah, I mean, seems like they're making a Detective Chimp push.
Yeah, well, they have been, because he's kind of cool. You know? And you know what I love about Detective Chimp is that he's not just I mean, he has been a character, but he's like, especially in Justice League Dark, they really deal with the fact that he's a super intelligent chimpanzee, who is very good at deducing things, and who drinks, which is my favorite part about him. And he owns an interdimensional bar. So you own so right there, you have an interdimensional bar, a talking chimp. It is DC's Guardians of the Galaxy, and it is what they should do next. So. Just Dark, the new one. I never read the first one. I mean, I saw the movie; it was okay. You know, but it's like I think that there's something really strong and interesting they can do with that, and I think that I'd love to see that. Okay, do you want to go to comic books, or do you have anything else on my list?
Nah, I don't think you gave me a big list, but no, that sounds fine. Comics is good.
Yeah, so let's talk about, because I just read it, Bitter Root.
Oh yeah, how was it?
It was very good. I gotta say, this guy Berg, don't see it here, but you actually read the comic books. Berg is definitely meant to be David Walker. I'm just gonna say it right now, David Walker, Berg is a David Walker pastiche. Berg is how David Walker sees himself, which is great because he's a cool character. The same way that people say like Reed Richards, David Walker on the phone. The same way that people say that David Walker, or the same way that people say that Stan Lee is like, that Reed Richards is like a Stan Lee pastiche, that Stan Lee always saw himself as Reed Richards as like, essentially as the smartest man in the room. But it's really good. I mean, I'm just going to give you the last image of it, man, right there. That's the last image. That right there, that's everything you know about. That is great. I mean, it's got this great thing, you have this fight monsters. You have Grant and the family. The women do this, and the men do that. And the daughter's like, "No, I want to fight." And she's like, "Oh, you're just like your mother," and that's what got her killed. Yada yada. We got this interesting side group of people apparently know about monsters, but maybe aren't in on the thing. So they're cool. There's something going on there. And the art, not for nothing, the art is really fantastic.
Is that a miniseries? Is that a miniseries or an ongoing, or?
As far as I know, it's ongoing.
Okay. What issue is that?
This is issue 1.
Is it? Okay.
Issue 1.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh no, this was on the pull list for a while. I've been waiting for this.
Okay.
And then I didn't get to read it for like 3 weeks. But so like issue 2 will probably be in next week's episode, so that'll be great.
Well, I was going to say, so there's only been 1 issue so far. Okay.
Yeah, but this is Walker, Brown, Green, Renzi, and Cowles, and I guess.
So jump in on the ground floor, people.
Yeah, what I can say is I think that the artist, who is the artist on this? I can never read credits right. But it's this. Here we go. I don't remember who the artist was on the Luke Cage Power Man series that David Walker wrote.
Okay. Was that Sanford Green or was it somebody else? Or
I think it sounds right to me. But
but I know who you're talking about. I remember.
You read that series, I didn't.
I remember the art style.
You can see the artwork style is very similar, and it's actually what I'll say is, and this is my thing, is that I didn't think it worked as well for Luke Cage, but maybe that's just because I'm in Luke Cage. First off, if Luke Cage doesn't have a tiara, I don't know why I'm one of them. I'm just saying it. Yeah, but I thought, it's a really good series. I really liked it. I'm glad I finally got to read it. I'm looking forward to reading all the rest of it because there's definitely a cosmos and a mythology here. And I would not be surprised if we don't see a Bitterroot movie in like 2 or 3 years. Because that's the turnaround time now. You come up with something that's a hit, they make a movie of it.
Oh, yeah. Or a TV show. Yeah.
Something, yeah. You want to talk Fantastic Four?
Sure. Fantastic Four number 4.
Fantastic Four number 4, you know. They're doing Invaders too. So Defenders and Invaders are both back. Oh, but hey, I think we forgot to mention it. Buried the lead. Who's back in the Marvel Universe? Philip.
Conan!
Who's finally back? Conan! The Barbarian. Oh, look, we can get like some. Yes, Conan the Barbarian is back. The Hyborian Age returns. What more could you want? Except Conan in the Marvel Universe. I mean, I hope Disney can hold on to him. You know? Because honestly, I want. Conan's books were always better than his movies. And that includes both the novels and the comic books. Conan was a great character. Oh, that's the other thing. Hey, what's getting its own comic book?
Oh, Wolverine: The Long Night podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be a comic book. So that might be interesting. I don't know. Might be a fun Elseworld. But anyway, Fantastic Four. I don't know. I don't know how I feel 100% about the Future Foundation and Professor Powers going off. Aside from the fact that it is just one more meaningless honorific. We're going to call you a professor now.
Libby's Lilith and Dragon Man and Alex Power go off with the kids. Okay.
Yeah, well, and I get the idea that, we're a family, we're going to go do this, and all this kind of stuff. But it's, first of all, I just love the fact that they really emphasize how meaningless the honorific of professor is. We've decided that you're a professor now. We'll file the paperwork when we get home. It's like, paperwork for what? To whom? What is he a professor of?
Yeah, well, it's like, it's Reed and Sue. They're not an institution either.
Exactly. It's like, maybe there was some tax filing that made the Future Foundation an actual legitimate thing, and so they can appoint him professor of the Future Foundation.
Well, that's
Professor Power and the Future Foundation, which now I want as a spinoff book.
Well,
I want Professor Power.
Is that just Dan Slott saying, "Yeah, I don't want to deal with the Future Foundation right now"?
Well, or maybe he's saying, "Hey, maybe actually he wants to deal with the Future Foundation, but he wants to do that in a separate book as Professor Power in the Future Foundation."
Maybe
that just is such a comic book title. What's weird about this though, and just to call a shelter half an entrenching tool. So all of the Future Foundation has been out for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they've all been aging for 5 years. Everyone on Earth has not. So when Professor Power comes back, is all of the rest of Power Pack be like, why are you so much older, Alex?
I don't know. It seems weird. I don't know if it was just the art, but like in the 90s, he was on the New Warrior. Yeah, it was him on New Warriors, and he seemed older, but now they seem younger. I don't know.
Well, Gwenpool has made that point, is that with aging, you never really age unless it's all at once for a book,
I mean, or Frank, look at Franklin Richards aging. Watch, they'll get back eventually, like, watch that 5-year aging will wear off of all of them or something, when they're like, oh, we're sick of Reed Richards with the beard, let's de-age them again or something.
Well, yeah, but they can still keep Valeria and Franklin
True.
As that was the whole point, is just getting them out of that awkward phase, so they can work with that. And then, of course, they moved to 4 Yancey Street. That's our new headquarters.
Mm-hmm. What did you think about that whole thing about letting that new group, the Fantastics, keep the Baxter Building? I kind of get it, but it's like, did you really vet these people? Because remember the last time a team took over, it was Four Freedoms Plaza, but remember the last time a team took that over? The Thunderbolts? Yeah. That didn't blow up literally in everyone's face.
Well, I guess here's what Reed is saying.
They don't know these people. They could be villains.
Well, clearly they are. I guess what they're saying is they may not be villains.
They're con artists, at least.
Or maybe just their promoter was the con artist.
Maybe.
Say on this is that essentially maybe Reed just don't care. Maybe as the Thunderbolts example, he's like, you know what? Maybe even if these guys aren't heroes, if they play heroes long enough, at least one or two of them will want to stay heroes.
Maybe.
So, fine. And it's not like Reed Richards can just buy back the Baxter Building.
Yeah, I was going to say, what money does he have?
Well, I mean, yes. Or as we get to in Marvel 2, well, Reed will just invent something.
I know, Johnny. Yeah, he'll just invent some patent. We'll be rich again. Don't worry.
Then he burns the coat. It's like, just after this, just like 3 minutes in, he wears the coat. And it's like, Johnny, you got a self-destructive streak. I don't know what it is, but there's something definitely bad there. I don't like the offering the villain more money to quit thing as a resolution, except that it's a nice, quick resolution. I do like
Damian Wayne has done that. What are they teaching these children of superheroes that you could just buy off your problems?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I'll be honest with you. It actually worked in the Venture Brothers. When
I know, but again, if these people are villains, you're just handing villains money. Here, you need a death ray. Oh, here's the money. We'll pay you off to throw this fight. Go buy your death ray.
Although I'll tell you this, Valeria has made a bad villain in the Wrecker. Because now the Wrecker wants revenge on Valeria.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In fact, I would not be surprised if you having a series of the Wrecker trying to get the money out of Valeria at some point in the future. Everybody and killing people. The $48,000 because they had promised him 24, and it's $7,000 you owe me, lady. Mm-hmm. That's all I want is what you promised. I mean, it was okay, but actually, my favorite thing is the statement that we're going to look for the Molecule Man.
Yes.
The Dragon Man in the future. They're going to look for the Molecule Man.
But, I mean, I like that statement, but does the Molecule Man need your help? I mean, eventually he always pulls himself back together, right?
Well, exactly. And more to the point, he is a villain and has been a villain for like a long time and was actually like central to the Beyonders plot to destroy the universe.
Well, again, like you were saying with these new characters, that he was working with the Future Foundation. Do they think maybe they're on their way to rehabilitating him? Because, I mean, he would be a powerful force for good.
No, well, I mean, but you know what? Sometimes a powerful force for good is actually not as good as you think.
Is it more of taming him? Like, oh yeah, you can't just like deconstruct universes and
let's. Well, you know what? Here's what I'll say. He's a very mentally ill man. But, like I say, like Batman, if you don't remember, is a powerful force for good. Old man Harley. Old woman Harley. Yes. Old lady Harley, sorry. Is a powerful force for good, but is also basically established a fascist state in Gotham with Bloodhaven as you do, and with Bloodhaven as their city prison. So having this great, I think it's really just that, he was a friend. And honestly, here's what I'll tell you. Here's like, if you really want to say about, if you want to think three-dimensionally on this story, they're looking for Power Man, they're looking for the Molecule Man, because Owen Reese would be very sad if he pulled himself together and no one was looking for him.
Exactly. That was my next point. You really want a villain, especially one that powerful, to come back and say, "You didn't look for me."
Exactly.
I mean, I think that's what Hank Pym Ultron did. He was like, "No one came looking for me." Everyone was like, "We thought you were dead." I wasn't dead.
Yeah, well, Hank Pym Ultron. He's just Hank Pym in general.
Hank Pym. No one's looking for him.
Yeah, we're kind of glad you died. No, not for nothing. I enjoy the Fantastics. They're great.
And what did you think of Marvel 2-in-1 number 12, the last issue? We got your old buddy Mole Man.
Mole Man's back. You know what I didn't like about it? It was just all a little bit of and well, that wraps up that story. We get Racina's like, I've decided not to be evil anymore. Hope that's okay with you all.
Well, they kind of gave her what she wanted, because Reed was like trying to cure her sister.
Yeah, which is of course because that's worked out so well for Ben over the years.
Well, she's not covered in orange rock, so I mean,
yes. And Ben wants to be, as we've established.
And as we were talking before, could it be an easily as a fix as like cloning her new body or something?
1940s technology still works, you know.
I mean, Ben Riley figured it out. I mean, Otto figured it. I mean, Reed Richards should be able to figure it out.
Everyone has figured it out except for the guy who's like known for clones.
The Jackal,
like,
yeah.
Except for the and I kind of get the feel like everyone's like, just don't tell him. Don't tell him. It's a great joke. Just don't tell him. No. Don't tell him. It's so obvious and he's just so stupid. Don't tell him. Oh.
Well, I mean, you can kind of explain it because, like, you know, kind of retcon, like, supposedly the High Evolutionary gave him bad data or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. If you're a scientist and you have bad data, you might, like, try to figure out why the data's bad.
He's not a scientist. He was, like, a college professor. Again, college professor.
Yes, granted, that is a meaningless honorific. But he was still a scientist. I'm saying he was a man who worked in science, which makes you a scientist. Again, he was
a crazy college professor who had an unhealthy crush on a student of his. He only threw himself into cloning to say, "Hey, let me bring back that hot blonde girl I was lusting after in my class." Not the sanest person.
Marvel made this book.
Yes, that started the whole clone thing. Val Warren was Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy's college professor. She dies. He blames Spider-Man, and he's like, "Oh, hey, let me bring back that hot blonde." That's the whole foundation.
Why did he bring back Peter Parker, though?
What?
Why did he clone Peter Parker, though?
He basically brought him the clone. He cloned Peter Parker so the clone would kill the real Spider-Man, and then he would have a Spider-Man who obeyed him. Yeah,
I see.
And then in the 90s, he was going to kill all of humanity and make clone doubles, so you know that way the whole world would obey him.
Wasn't that actually Scarlet Spider's whole thing?
He was trying to help, but he was still kind of off the rails. But
yeah, he's very off the rails. Oh, okay, so that's Ben Riley.
So you thought 2 and 1 wrapped up too neatly.
Well, I mean, not so much. Again, like I said, the whole I'm going to just buy this coat, and because we're loaded, and again. Two issues back to back where the answer is we're rich. What do we care? It's like, wow, why do 1% the superpowered people of the world? You want to know? You don't want to know why people hate superpowered people because not because you have powers. It's because you're also there's a few of you who are super rich and really flaunt it.
Yeah, I know.
You're a superpowered person, you're rich.
But I think the theme of this issue is supposed to be like, oh, the Fantastic Four's back. You know, the classic days are back again. And, you know, what's one of the classic themes? Oh, Johnny is so vain and, you know.
Yeah, and we're fighting them all, man.
Yeah.
So, with this. And where did he get money to buy robot monsters? You know, it's like.
He found buried treasure? I don't know. Buried treasure.
Honestly, it gets to the point where you think, like, maybe, like, people just aren't digging enough on this planet. Like, maybe Roxanne is really kind of too oil-focused. It's like...
I was going to say, maybe Mole Man found an oil...
Diamonds just right under the ground. Like
maybe Mole Man found an oil deposit. Charlie Esser! Write that story. Mole Man's like the new version of like a Saudi prince. He has like all this oil. So like the U.S. government and everyone has to deal with him because he has all this oil or something.
You know what? There's actually a very strong scientific argument for that because oil, one of the hardest things about oil is that a lot of the oil is actually very deep in the ground because oil is a liquid. So it flows down. So once there's a crack in the rock, it all goes down deeper in the earth and deeper in the earth. So the deeper you go, the more oil you find, but it's hard to get that deep.
Plus, isn't oil basically the remains of like dead dinosaurs and stuff?
And it's actually the remains of dead plankton. Dinosaurs haven't been dead long enough for them to actually.
But I was going to say, I mean, if there was monsters on Monster Island in prehistoric times, maybe their remains became oil. Maybe he's sitting on like Wakanda's sitting on all that vibranium. Maybe Mole Man's sitting on a ton of oil.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. Yeah, but no, that's just a common misconception about the dinosaur oil connection. I mean, maybe like a dinosaur bone, because you might find dinosaur bones in oil deposits, but it's like but what actually becomes is carbon that's been like left for.
All right. Yeah. The mole man.
Don't give me the nod. It's like you're getting too nerdy.
The mole man found the remains of a bunch of dead plankton. Whatever. He's underground. He can find it.
Exactly. So he got some money somewhere. Bought himself some killer robots because that's what you do. It's like, oh, I've got enough money to have anything I ever wanted. I'm going to build giant robots because
who's writing this? Bendis.
Yeah.
Well,
Marvel's immune has a Bendis immunity, right?
I know, but no, I just took it as like Mole Man was in his eyes, he was discarded by the human race, and then he found all these friends in the monsters and the moloids, and now they kind of turned away from him. So he's like, I need my monsters back.
Very nice person.
What?
You know, he's not a very nice person.
Well, no.
You know, I mean, well, that's the thing. It's like he's always like, oh, everyone rejects me. It's like, maybe it's just because you're a jerk, Harvey. Maybe you're just not a nice person, Harvey.
Isn't that like basically his whole thing is like, you know, people have mocked me. I can't find a woman. These monsters are my friends.
Except they're not. They're literally monsters that he just had the ability to control.
They're basically like strays. He fed them, and now they're like, oh, they keep coming back every night. You know.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, that's essentially it, and it is going back to Miles Warren, the idea of it's people that will do what I say, and you know, like Marvel Knights, which you turned me on to. Apparently, what Doom is doing is like, I will control the world by making everyone forget, or I will let people know what they do. And yeah, it's you know, it's about wanting that sycophantic world of mind-controlled slaves. It only looks good if you don't recognize humans as humans to start with.
Is that the basic overlying theme of a supervillain? It's not, you know, trying to conquer the world. It's like, I can't have interpersonal relationships, so I will control people and make them conform to my version of interpersonal relationships.
Yeah, except for the wizard, because for him, he's the one guy it's always just about, no, I don't want to control the world. I don't think I'm better than anyone else. I just want to win. I just want to win the game.
The answer to every question in People was either Otto Octavius or the wizard.
They're the best! You know? Otto doesn't want to take over the world either. He just wants money. He wants money. He wants the money.
And Anna Marie.
Well, you know.
And call me a hero.
Yes. And, you know, he'd like to be considered a hero. You know.
Hey, another person who paid off supervillains. He paid off the Night Shift.
Well, yeah.
You're on my payroll. Quit rampaging. You're on my payroll now.
Well, but that's the thing. He did it as a villain. You know, as a villain, it's perfectly acceptable.
In his eyes, he was a hero.
Well, he's being a hero, and not for nothing. He's also not he's also not 12. When the little kid says, "My daddy's rich, and I'm gonna buy you," it's actually a really awful way to phrase the situation. When a rich guy says, "Look, I'll pay you," and not for nothing, that doesn't actually work, because obviously you're not going to pay them enough to where it's worth it to them to sacrifice their integrity as a hired criminal, and more to the point, usually the hired criminal, the criminal who hired the hired criminal will then hire other hired criminals to go after the hired criminal that took the better deal. It's like, from a business perspective, it's not a good plan.
No.
So, and again, like I said, having a 12-year-old girl do it just didn't work. Or 14, I don't know how old she's supposed to be.
I know. The age up, who knows? But
yeah, well, she's supposed to be interested in boys, but I still think we're supposed to think of her in a non-sexual way. Like, there's not, like, she's like still in a romance attraction, not a
puppy love. Like, maybe she's like 12 or something. Yeah,
with some prince of some other, with the prince of the Avatar pastiche.
Did you see next week? I guess the Fantastic Four wedding special comes out.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. It's nice to see. I want to see if they invite Puppet. I want to see if Puppet Master gives her away.
I want to see if Sharon Ventura shows up. Charlie.
She might, you know. You know, I think she's moved beyond Ben.
I know, but is she still?
Well, of course, she's a wanted criminal, so who knows? I mean, I don't know what I mean, it would be nice if they give her like the freaking think serum that lets you be human for a day.
Mm.
That's actually the real thing. I want to see if he says, "Oh, there's one other thing. This one day a year I get to be human," and he drinks this serum and he becomes human for the day.
Oh, is he gonna say that for the honeymoon?
Well, you had the honeymoon after the wedding, so yeah.
Well, no. That's what I'm saying. Would he rather? He'd probably rather be human for that honeymoon than the actual ceremony.
Yeah, and you know what? I think Sharon Ventura may have a similar psychological block about being human, and I think that telling her that there's a serum that'll let you be human for one day, and so you might see her there as a human, and that'll be. So here's what I'll tell you: if you see her at the start of the book in human form as Sharon Ventura, then you're going to know that that's going to be the end of the book. And then he says, "Don't worry, I have the serum in one day a year." So someone's going to say, "Wait a minute, why only one day a year?" And they obviously weren't things the same length of time. And
okay.
Wait a minute.
Okay, we're going long, but I was thinking about this.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was thinking about this the other day too. It's like, okay, wasn't Ben Grimm's mental block that he couldn't transform back and forth is because he was afraid Alicia only loved him as the Thing and he would lose her? Well, they're getting married, and I'm pretty sure he's not. I mean, yeah, there's divorce, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to lose her. Shouldn't that mental block kind of be breaking down?
But only one day a year. One day a year for the making baby stuff, and then. But no, I mean, not for nothing. No, well, here's the thing. It's Ben's mental block.
Yeah.
And that's actually not even about Alicia. That's actually this thing. It was originally about Alicia. Really, my theory is that it's much more about him not wanting to give up being the Thing. That the power of being the Thing is too much. And what he actually fears is that if he separates his Thing and his Ben persona, he's going to be like Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Where he sees that where it becomes an other.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't want to have an other. He wants to be one person. And if he has to choose what one person, he's Ben Grimm the Thing, because he's super strong.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. And also resistant to energy and lives forever and all that. And so it's no longer just about Alicia, but that was like the very surface answer at the start.
Okay.
But the actual real reason is I think he fears losing his humanity. Okay. I'm sorry, Phil. We ran long and love his thing. I have stuff to do too.
No, she hasn't said anything.
Anyway, let's call it a night.
Okay.
Anything else? You have something else you want to bring up? Or?
No, that's good. No.
We didn't talk about this, but it was cool. Gwenpool's in it. And that's
Spider-Man, Deadpool, yeah. Mommy?
Yeah, and the writers won't let him know Spider-Man's secret identity.
Oh, I know. That was really like breaking the fourth wall.
Well, what's weird is that I thought he actually, I guess he knows Spider-Man's history. He doesn't know his secret identity.
Maybe.
Because he's mentioned stuff from, like, Peter Parker's past. I think he's even mentioned Aunt May in the past.
Or is that a mental block? Does he really know, but his conscious mind won't let him know?
Or at least the writers won't let him know.
Yeah.
Or the writers won't let Peter Parker let him know.
Is he really breaking the fourth wall, or is he just that crazy that he thinks he is?
Yeah.
And if he finds out Spider-Man's secret identity, that's going to put the truth to the lie that he actually is breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah. Or something like that. Yeah. I mean, he's in a rough spot. But I love that Gwenpool had a cameo, and now that means that Gwenpool can like come back into that thing. Because she can, and they actually make the point, she can go further in the books when it's allowed.
Yes.
And say, the writers let me do it. So if she comes back like next issue, the writers let me show up.
Next issue, they're in the negative zone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she can go there because they closed it with the negative zone. So she was in the books. They closed it with the negative zone. She can get to the negative zone whenever she wants. See, there they are in the negative zone, which means it's a nihilist controlling bugs.
Or Blastar.
Blastar doesn't control bugs.
But he's in the negative zone, isn't he?
Yes, but you have to look at what the modus operandi is.
Oh, bugs. Yeah.
Come on, work with me, Philip.
I know.
Okay. Philip, how can people reach you if they'd like to explain comic books to you?
All right. If you want to get a hold of me, you can always email me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. On Twitter, I am at nightwingpdp. And check out Capes Lunatics. Check out Nuff Said, where the show also now appears. And any feedback, just send it 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES.
And what about the Nuff Said podcast?
Don't create your own trust, Charlie Esser. Don't play God.
Oh, anyway, I think the guy who does the Quasar podcast mentioned the Quasar podcast. So I think it is an established role.
But I asked him to do that. He didn't do it himself.
Oh.
Yeah, everyone's copying Will.
Yeah, well, because apparently that's what the kids today like.
Lilith loves it.
Kids like those traps.
Must be. Lilith loves it.
Yeah. Anyway, well, she's the youngest person I know. Anyway,
besides his children.
if you'd like to write to me in the old-fashioned email, did you give your social media already?
Yeah.
Okay. Like to write to me in the old-fashioned way, once did at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. Of course, follow me on the Twitters. A live tweet, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is coming back, and Cloak and Dagger, and Gotham, which I'm really looking forward to. Oh, and there's a new, powerless but not powerless. That's damage control but not damage control. Yeah. It's like its own universe, but it's the people.
CW.
Anyway, we'll see. That could be the biggest thing ever. You watch. It's going to be its own universe. It's like, we've created our own universe. Anyway, you can watch those shows with me at Charlie Esser. That's CHARLIESSER. But with the two E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
There you go. And thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for connecting with us. Please super connect with us once again next week. Good night.
Good night.
You don't know, they could be listening at night. And I should hope they have a good night, no matter what time of day it is.
I was going to say, yeah.
It's still in the morning. They should have a good night. And if it's at night, then have a good morning,
This is Paul Harvey. Good night.
Good day. I miss Paul Harvey. He's dead.
I miss Stanley. He's dead.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are dead. In fact, there's more people. Actually, no, there's actually more people alive than dead right now. That was an interesting mathematical theory that someone came up with.
I got you.